20 months after being imprisoned on false charges in Pakistan, Kulbhushan Jadhav will today meet his wife and mother in Islamabad. This will be the first contact he's had with his family since his unlawful arrest in March last year. His mother and wife are expected to land in Islamabad around 11 a.m. today through a commercial flight. The meeting will be held in between 1 and 3 p.m. Indian Standard Time. India's Deputy High Commissioner to Pakistan will accompany Jadhav's family on this crucial visit. Ousted leaders of ruling party of India's southern Tamil Nadu state won a re-election of a legislative assembly seat on Sunday. TTV Dinakaran won the RK Nagar seat, which fell vacant after the death of the then Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha in December last year. Dinakaran, who is out on bail in a bribery case, said he has won as people wanted to vote for the true followers of the late Chief Minister. Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, on Sunday suggested introducing ancient Indian knowledge as an academic subject in the existing education system across the country. The 82-year-old Nobel laureate made the statement while delivering a speech during an event, Education for Wisdom and Compassion to Rebuild Nation, organized on the occasion of Silver Jubilee celebrations of an educational institute in southern Bengaluru. A 10-day-long hot air balloon festival started on the banks of River Ganges in India's holy city of Varanasi on Sunday. A tourism department official said the initiative was taken in order to explore the scope of adventure tourism in the city. The flying balloons have created a big buzz among tourists and locals, pulling them to the river bank. It was a dog's day out in India's central Bhopal city on Sunday as canine lovers flocked to a dog show with their well-groomed pets. About 350 dog lovers, including handlers from Italy and Russia, participated in the Bhopal dog show with 43 canine breeds. The participants brought some of the rare and expensive dog breeds, including Belgian Shepherd, Tibetan Mastiff, Siberian Husky, Collie and others. Renowned Indian sand artist Sudarshan Patnaik has created a 25 feet high and 50 feet wide sand face of Santa Claus in India's eastern coastal city of Puri. Claimed to be the biggest of such a creation anywhere in the world, the Guinness World Record holder Patnaik has used 600 tons of sand and logged in 3 days along with 40 students to make the sculpture at the Puri beach. Christians across India immersed in the festive spirit as they sang carols in churches that have been decked up for the midnight mass on Monday for Christmas celebrations. Christmas is celebrated across the world on December 25th, marking the commemoration of the birth of Jesus Christ. Midnight mass precedes Christmas Day, which includes singing carols and Thanksgiving. Well, North Korea said the latest UN sanctions against Pyongyang are an act of war and tantamount to a complete economic blockade against the country. The UN Security Council unanimously imposed new sanctions on North Korea on Friday for its recent intercontinental ballistic missile test, seeking to limit its access to refined petroleum products and crude oil and its earnings from workers abroad. A Los Angeles Department bomb squad investigated a special package addressed to Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin on Saturday night in the affluent Bel Air neighborhood. According to local media reports, multiple law enforcement sources say someone in the neighborhood reportedly received the gift-wrapped package addressed to him before contacting the police, who cleared it after discovering that it was manure. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny cleared the first hurdle towards taking part in next year's presidential elections, even though the Central Election Commission has previously ruled him ineligible to run. He is a fierce opponent to President Vladimir Putin, who is widely expected to win a re-election in March, extending 17 years in power. On Christmas Eve, US President Donald Trump took calls from children asking them what they wanted most from Santa and revealing what was on his own wish list. Sitting in a gold chair beside First Lady Melania Trump in an ornate great room, the president enthusiastically chatted with youngsters and their parents. Trump predicted the kids would have the greatest Christmas ever. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu offered to play tour guide to Christian pilgrims on Sunday in a message relayed from Jerusalem, whose recognition as Israel's capital by US President Donald Trump has split global Christian opinion. A Christmas Eve video on Twitter showed Netanyahu against the backdrop of East Jerusalem, an area laden with Jewish, Christian and Muslim shrines that Israel captured in the 1967 war and which Palestinians want as their own future capital. Spain's King Felipe, in his Christmas message on Sunday, called on the leaders of Catalonia, who were elected in the snap regional elections last week, to tackle the problems facing Catalans, respecting plurality and thinking responsibly about the common good. Separatist parties secured a parliamentary majority in a regional election on Thursday, though it is still unclear whether former Catalan President Carles Puigdemont and other jailed leaders of the movement will be able to attend assembly sessions. France will resume its state of emergency and deploy 97,000 police and military guards for enhanced security measures during Christmas and New Year celebrations. Though the two-year-long state of emergency was lifted on the 1st of November, the continued measures are in place to deal with all kinds of security threats. French police had thwarted 13 attempted attacks since the beginning of the year. London Zoo reopened on Sunday, a day after a fire that killed an aardvark and likely 4 meerkats and which left staff suffering from smoke inhalation and shock. The zoo said an initial post-mortem showed that the animal named Misha most likely died from smoke inhalation while sleeping, while the 4 meerkats unaccounted for were presumed to have died in the zoo. The zoo, which dates from 1826, said it was too soon to speculate on the cause of the fire. The death toll from Tropical Storm Tembin in the southern Philippines has now increased to 200. Another nearly 70,000 have been rendered homeless. The storm has battered the country's second-largest island of Mindanao since Friday. Officials claim that 3 provinces have been badly affected. Authorities have blamed residents for ignoring the warnings to leave coastal areas and river banks. Many people were swept away as floodwaters quickly rose to the high tide. Pope Francis on Sunday offered prayers for the population of the island of Mindanao in the Philippines hit by Tropical Storm Tembin. Francis asked people in St. Peter's Square to pray in silence for the numerous victims caused by the storm that has so far killed nearly 200 and left 70,000 homeless in the Philippines. Pope Francis also offered prayers for peace for the world and appealed for the release of kidnapped priests, religious men and women and lay faithful. Francis asked everyone to pray that everyone has been kidnapped in conflicts would be set free and will be able to return to their homes for Christmas, and invoked the gift of peace, especially for those populations involved in conflicts. The Pope strongly defended immigrants in his Christmas Eve Mass on Sunday, comparing them to Mary and Joseph finding no place to stay in Bethlehem and saying faith demands that foreigners be embraced. On Christmas Day, Francis will deliver his twice yearly to the city and to the world blessing and message from the central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. Italian Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni said that he would propose to the parliament transferring some of the country's troops stationed in Iraq to Niger to fight people smuggling and terrorism. He said that Italy's 1,400-strong military presence in Iraq could now be reduced after victories against Islamic militants and instead deploy in the Sahel region of Western Africa. The first ship entered Hodeida port after the Saudi-led military coalition fighting Houthi rebels in Yemen said on Wednesday it would open the port for a month for aid to flow through. A sales representative of the Red Sea port said the ship carrying fuel was due to enter the port 50 days ago but was returned on November 6th when the blockade started. The Saudi-led coalition closed air, land and sea access to the Arabian Peninsula to stop the flow of arms to the Houthis from Iran. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said Egypt will in the next 2 to 3 years embark on a $5.6 billion construction project in the Sinai Peninsula, whose north has been gripped by the Islamic insurgency, while coast of the south of the peninsula is peppered with Red Sea tourist resorts. North Sinai province is underdeveloped and lacks basic infrastructure and job opportunities. 36 opponents of Venezuela's socialist government were released from prison and reunited with loved ones on Sunday. This is part of a wider Christmas release. Lambasted by critics at home and abroad for holding around 270 activists in prison, President Nicolas Maduro's administration said that it was releasing 80 of them with alternative sentences like community service. Skiers stranded inside broken-down ski gondolas in Carmoro in the French Alps were rescued by workers via helicopter on Sunday. Video shared on social media by those caught up in the incident showed rescuers hanging from ropes from the helicopters, swinging back and forth near the stationary bubbles. Media reported that between 150 and 200 people were rescued, with the gondolas 25 meters above ground. The world's longest glass-bottom bridge opened to the public on Sunday at the Hyeongyang Scenic Area in North China's Hebei province, attracting over 3,000 tourists. The 488-meter-long glass bridge is 4 meters wide and hangs 218 meters above the valley between two steep cliffs. It is built by Hebei Beilu Group for a special tourist attraction. Wingsuit flyers from across the world enjoyed their fierce competition on the first day at the 2017 Wings for Love Wingsuit Flying World Cup in southwestern China's Yunnan province. More than 20 athletes from different countries and regions, including China, the United States, France, Italy and Australia, participated in the 3-day base jumping contest held in Jignudai and Yi Autonomous County. The 15th Zhanglan Banner Winter NADAM Fair concluded on Sunday in the hinterland of Anchangdan's land in North China. The 2-day event attracted many herdsmen to enjoy this festival. NADAM Fair, meaning entertainment or recreation in Mongolian, dates back to the early days of the 13th century and is a mass traditional Mongolian festival mainly filled with sport events. With the Tokyo Olympics just over 2 years away, giant panda Pupu is busy training in hopes of making her debut on the Chinese gymnastics team. The panda's agility and love for tumbling is often on display for visitors at the northeast China's Shenyang Forest Zoo, where she lives with 3 other equally cute but less gymnastically inclined pandas. Parents took their children on a tour around the Berlin Zoo to feed the reindeer that will help Santa Claus deliver gifts to children all over the world on Christmas Eve. After visiting the ice bears, seals, penguins and white wolves, the group arrived at the reindeer enclosure with a box full of tasty food, which the animals quickly approached in order to get ready for the long night that awaits them. US and NATO troops stationed in Afghanistan celebrated Christmas Eve on Sunday. United Service Organization put on a festive show at the Bagram Air Base for troops in Afghanistan who were spending the holiday away from their families. Hundreds of Catholic followers attended a Christmas Eve Mass in Beijing amid reported restrictions on the celebration of the annual Christian festival in cities across the country. This year, the ruling Communist Party has been unusually strict in warning university students, state-owned enterprise employees and officials themselves against celebrating Christmas, with admonitions such as to resist the influence of Western religious culture. Santa Claus is famous for dashing through the snow in this one-horse open sleigh, but on a cold Christmas Eve afternoon by the Potomac River, the jolly globetrotter showed his fans he was no slouch on the water either. Santa and his elves on Sunday donned their water skis and zipped up and down the Alexandria waterfront on the outskirts of Washington in an annual tradition that dates back to 1986. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, also known as NORAD, is tracking Santa's journey around the world on Christmas Eve. NORAD is normally responsible for monitoring any aerospace or marine threats, but every Christmas season it focuses on one figure who is anything but a threat, Santa Claus. It's a yearly tradition dating back to 1955. Indonesian police ran security checks on churches in Jakarta on Sunday ahead of Christmas Mass, with more security personnel deployed than in previous years to mitigate the chance of attacks. Thousands of Muslim security volunteers will also help keep watch over Christmas events. In Indonesia in 2000, near simultaneous attacks on churches at Christmas killed around 20 people. The Night of the Radishes comes to Mexico's Oaxaca region, known for its unique traditions and culture, every December 23rd with imaginative displays carved into the red and white vegetables. The custom is in its 120th year and started when vegetable vendors adorned their stalls with carvings to show off their wares. 143 artisans are displaying their work, and among the myriad creative designs is one that represents solidarity with the victims of the earthquake that struck central Mexico past year. Catholic Christians attended Mass at St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church in Cairo to mark Christmas and pray for all those killed in the attacks in 2017. There was a visible security presence in the area with metal detectors at the main doors and police vehicles stationed outside the church ahead of the Mass. Global peace and a blessed 2018 were called for in Mass prayer. Security was stepped up at the Vatican on Sunday, with participants checked as they approached St. Peter's Square even before going through metal detectors to get into the Basilica. The square was cleared out hours earlier so security procedure could be put in place. Pope Francis, celebrating his 50th Christmas as leader of the world's 1.2 billion Roman Catholic, led a solemn mass for about 10,000 people in St. Peter's Basilica, while many others followed the service from outside. The acting Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem arrived in the western bank town of Bethlehem, believed to be Jesus' place of birth, to kick off Christmas festivities and lead the midnight mass at the Church of the Nativity on Sunday night. Pizzaballa traveled to Bethlehem through a checkpoint at the Israeli-built separation barrier. He was greeted by thousands of Palestinians and tourists who gathered at the Manger Square outside the Nativity Church to celebrate Christmas. People and Christian pilgrims from around the world arrived at the square outside Bethlehem's Church of Nativity ahead of Christmas Eve celebrations in the site, believed to be Jesus' place of birth. Bethlehem has witnessed violent clashes between Israeli soldiers and Palestinian protesters in recent weeks in the wake of Washington's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Freestyle skiers Tess Ludo and Oscar Wester cruised away victoriously in the final World Cup of 2017 in Font-Romeu. French skier Ludo put in two strong performances in the slope style to comfortably beat Sweden's Ginny Lee and Tiril Tastad of Norway. In the men's event, Sweden's Wester scored the first win of his career after beating Norwegians Ferdinand Dahl and Øystein Bratthen.